Snizzle is almost at the castle. Yeah, that small bit at the end in brackets. Of course, I had to put that there. How many of you pressed pause and read that? Yep, I like Kirby, and that's the only time we're gonna be seeing him. Yeah, help yourself to a strawberry. Oh, now those are Lusterdon, Pumpkin Cake, Pound Cake, Big Sugar, and Lil Cheese. I think that's the only time I'll put an Equestria Girls nod in this movie series, because this movie's pretty much the final one. Perfect. And why is Snizzle standing next to that portal? Plot purpose. Yep, funny story, I dropped my old phone at a toilet one time. Now, when it came to the advertising for this movie, along with the commentary, I was avoiding any spoilers. Yes, Pink was one spoiler, but there was one that was even bigger. Yep, this was the big moment. And here comes the obvious Mario movie reference again. Yep, there we go. Now I want to be honest with you guys. When it came to the digital circus stuff, when I learned about its popularity, and the fact that it was actually one of the most popular indie cartoons on the internet, and a YouTuber I follow, Dre Higby, is very interested in it, and even created a little OC that we're going to be meeting very soon, I decided to do a nice little favor and include these characters, not just for him, but for the other Digital Circus fans. Also, these were the perfect kind of characters to be in a movie like this. So I thought, why not? Especially, there's a bit of a circus element in this movie as well, obviously. Although I still had to make the whole thing family friendly. Yeah, and that's also Zootunis doing the voices of the male characters while I'm voicing the female characters. Oh, there's the OC on top of Gangle. Now, I was pronouncing his name as Mizo, but it's actually pronounced Mizo. Sorry about that, Dre, if you're watching this. Also, I learned that the whole concept is that all these characters were originally humans that became cartoon characters once they entered this world. However, when Snizzle entered, he still remained the same as he currently is. Also, when the Digital Circus characters enter other worlds, they remain the same as they are in the circus, which is pretty much how they are as we'll see them later on. And yes, we do see them again. Also, when Turquoise saw Gangle for the first time, he called her a shredded shy guy. Also, I like to believe that the human versions of these characters are actually the voice actors, but that's just my theory. But moving on, yeah, we have Mizo into the mix. And I think Mizo is probably one of the cutest characters I have ever seen created by a fan. Especially with the squeaking. I hope we'll get to see more of Mizo real soon.
That big dolly is Ragatha. Zubo is this one who looks all messed up. This is his Royal Majesty Kinger.
Aww.
Last but not least, there is Jax. Jax?
Now the reason why I decided to obscure Jax until now is because he is a fan favorite character, and I wanted to please the fangirls because they think he's hot. I mean, they're not wrong. Oh yeah, and of course we gotta have the whole bit of Ragatha being frustrated with Jax. Yeah, Jax wasn't always a Neon Candies fan. I had to have him be one by just noticing the songs on Snizzle's phone.
I can't believe it. It's him. It's Snizzle.
Another reason why I gave Jax the major role is not only is he the fan favorite character, or the fact that he is adored by a lot of female viewers, he seems like someone who Snizzle could get along with. Also, this part was actually uploaded just a few months after the second episode of Digital Circus was released. And from what I heard, there was some backlash in regards to Jax's behavior in that episode. So I made sure that Jax was very likable and shows that he does have a caring side. And going back to Higby Productions, Dre actually did a video as part of his amazing Digital Circus show series, where Jax decides to quit, but he realizes that if he's gonna be a jerk, then he has to stay a jerk. According to him, that is. Ironically, that video was actually uploaded around the same time I was making this part. Now, I'll admit, When you make a video that is like really long, the recording can be very repetitive. It takes a lot longer for you to actually record something, not to mention the trimming becomes more repetitive. Oh yeah, this song. Just a heads up, I have not heard the original version. I've only heard this cover. But I am aware that it's originally from the Raggedy Ann and Andy musical adventure movie from 1977. From what I heard, it's kind of a weird but yet surreal animated musical. Some critics really don't like it because they think it drags on too long, and they also find there are elements that might be too scary. I looked it up and saw a few clips, and it doesn't look too bad. Though I have not seen it in its entirety, or have not watched the actual movie in itself, to be exact. Though it does seem like one of those more hidden gem or guilty pleasure type flicks. Now it seems that it got a brand new source of popularity thanks to this franchise. And like I said, this cover. And you want to know something really funny? So I uploaded this part, but then the week after, Dre Higbee uploaded a video with this exact same song, with a few similarities and a few differences. Though going back to the Raggedy Ann and Andy connection, the character Ragatha is meant to be based on Raggedy Ann herself, down to her having red hair and being, well, a ragdoll. And Jax, according to his voice actor, actually based his voice off of Raggedy Andy.
That was cool.
I guess Hefet or Zuzer brought their phones with them too, even though we don't see them throughout the whole movie. We only see Snizzles.
I'm in the middle of an expedition.
Yeah, I'll admit, with this part, I think I should have replaced some of the bits with King or some bits with Jax, because after the song, we don't see him again until he begs to come with Snizzle.
Why would anybody kidnap a king? I don't know.
Well, except for the fact that they want them for an attraction and keep them all to themselves because apparently they have the creepy hots for them.
I'm gonna do what it takes to rescue my beloved king. He needs me.
Yeah, that. Aw, look at Mizo.
His fate will be
Also, one thing about Mizo in this movie. So Mizo traditionally carries around a blanket with him. Oh yeah, there's Jax again. But yeah, in this movie, Mizo does not carry around his blanket at all. Or do we even see it? But he does wear his pacifier, eventually. Although, where I come from, we call pacifiers soothers, which I will continue to call.
We just met, so just give me a little bit more time. Alright?
Yes, this whole scene does serve a purpose. Not only does it have a payoff, but it sort of gives a development on Jax's relationship with Snizzle, and how all that pays off big time.
We should have thought about this a long time ago.
Did he grab on? Bye, everyone. See you soon.
Now, even though pretty much everyone in the circus hates Jax, they seem to really appreciate what he is currently going through, especially after meeting Snizzle. Although, Mizo really likes Jax. Now, this won't be the only time we're gonna see these characters.
We're missing. That's okay.
Reunited at last. Oh yeah, the Final Fantasy victory jingle.